Now, you know that we can't stop talking about inflation because it affects our daily life, from where we live to what we wear, and of course, to what we eat. One way brands are adjusting to the new norm is through celebrity partnerships to drum up business. Fast food chain Krystal just named Chainz its head of creative marketing. The rapper joins us now alongside Jonathan Childs. He's the founder of Golden Child Holdings, one of the primary investors in the brand. Thank you both so much for being here today. Chainz, I'm going to kick it off with you. You're obviously a busy guy. You're releasing a highly anticipated album next week, and you're now the head of creative marketing for a huge fast food chain, which sounds like a job that my friends would apply for on LinkedIn. What attracted you to this opportunity?
Well, honestly, I'm looking forward to what's next. I feel like I am one of the upper echelons when it comes to marketing and thinking outside of the box and being creative. And I met Jonathan through a mutual friend. We're both Georgia boys, and Krystal is such an identifiable and a credible brand that I just felt like it was a challenge that I wanted to accept.
And Jonathan, going to you, we've seen more and more brands partnering with celebrities, particularly for C-suite positions. Do you think that this is a trend that we're going to see kind of becoming the new norm for businesses?
I don't know if it's the new norm. I think it's a new trend. I think what you're seeing a lot of is paid endorsements. Our deal with Chainz is a little bit different. It's a true partnership. I think though, with everybody using their phones more and more frequently, and that's really the channel for marketing these days, it makes sense to partner with celebrity types, if you will. I think like I said, I think our deal is a little bit different.
Part of the collaboration, right, is Chainz. You are working on a co-branded custom Krystal restaurant in the neighborhood you grew up in. Sounds like the neighborhood you both grew up in. What is that going to look like, Chainz? Is it going to have, some cool parts of your personality infused into the restaurant? Do you have any fun quirks that you can kind of break for us here?
I do have tons of ideas that, man, are really out of this world. And so it's like, I'm having my own store to start this off. And from then, who knows, maybe 4 or 5 stores. But, like I said, Krystal is a brand that's been around forever. And it's my job to, put the cool back in, bring the cool.
Well, and you're really good at that. I feel like you are one of the few celebrities that's mastered branding, and you rebranded yourself before you released your first mixtape. What was the biggest lesson that you learned about branding back in 2011 when you did the renaming that that's kind of stuck with you, that you remember and look back on as like a good lesson on rebranding?
I have, people that are, entrepreneurs. They're in the VC space. They're in different spaces. And they rebrand, about, every 3 years or so. And I started taking a look at myself and started to move and think more like a business, although I am an individual. And that's what led to, all the stuff that you're seeing currently with Chainz.
Right, that's really interesting. You saw it as a business opportunity to continue to rebrand, and it clearly worked. You've got over 10 million Instagram followers. I mean, what do you think has allowed you to successfully navigate those rebrands while kind of keeping your authenticity, keeping your content authentic, and continuing to resonate with your existing fans throughout your career?
I think the common denominator with that is transparency, right? It's and it's also balance, and knowing that, I am a musical superstar, Grammy award winning, but I also have a family, but I also have really good ideas that need to get fleshed out. So it's being able to balance a lot of those things, be transparent, and also being someone that, stays grounded, stays humble, and continues to give back to the community.
I know NFTs are part of this deal. Chainz, break some news for me here. You released your album cover art this week. I mean, are you going to be auctioning that off as an NFT? Are there any other NFT plans coming up for you?
Listen. I have an album coming out 2/4, and it's called Dope Don't Sell Itself. But I tell everybody, if they substitute the word dope for ideas, that's what this album means. You can't sit back with a good idea and think it's going to sell itself or market itself. And that's what JC and I are doing. I have really good ideas that I'm going to bring to the table. And one of them is, the album cover that I put out, it looks like an NFT. We have to be able to capitalize off some of these images moving forward.
All right. I'll take that as a soft NFT tease there. Jonathan, going to you, like we're talking about, right? NFTs, merch, this is all part of your partnership. Where do you see branding and kind of this new revenue stream going? What excites you most here? Do you think it's going to be crypto? Is it going to be the metaverse? Is it going to be just regular old merch?
Look, I think it's probably all of the above, and I think the restaurant business sometimes has been a little bit slow to adapt to this. You've seen other big consumer industries, particularly in footwear and sportswear, move quickly into this front. I think what you're seeing is restaurants being pulled forward, and we certainly want to be at the forefront of that. Thus our partnership with Chainz.
Jonathan, I got to ask you about these food prices. Fast food prices up 8% over the course of 2021. How concerned are you about that and that potentially alienating customers?
I mean, we're seeing commodity prices continue to increase. I do think we'll see, ideally some of the forecasts we're seeing do show some flattening. But it's definitely a real issue.
Chainz, I want to go to you as well. I mean, given those food prices, are you concerned at all about fans being able to follow you along and support your role at Krystal by shopping at this restaurant and buying food there?
No, I think I would bring something unique to the space as far as, redesigning some of these structures, as far as enhancing the menu. So I'm looking forward to actually bringing in more people with that type of curiosity.
And I know that you grew up going to this restaurant as well. Can you tell me the weirdest, quirkiest memory you have of going to Krystal growing up?
I remember going to Krystal's years ago and going to the drive-thru, and the person in front of us fell asleep in the car. And it was like, we didn't realize it for the longest. Like, man, this is taking forever, man. What's going on? And then we realized that the person had dozed off behind the wheel. So that's something that just really sticks out of my mind on how we were just like, man, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? You holding us up.
Jonathan, what about you? What's a favorite memory you have of Krystal?
Yeah, I was hoping I was going to get to answer that one too. I think probably the fondest memory or the most memorable one I've got is eating 24 of these things in one night. It
Who
was
among
not.
us hasn't been there, man? I get it.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to have a Krystal eating contest back in the day, and haven't engaged in taking down 24 of them lately. However, I have had my share, and we'll see if anybody else can beat that number out there.
I love it. I'm from Florida, so I understand the importance of this establishment, but I'm in New York now. I mean, do you anticipate expansion into the Northeast, moving ahead and bringing this brand into New York anytime soon?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, just before our call here, I was looking at some of the maps of where we're expanding. We recently announced a partnership with Victor Cruz to bring Krystal into the Northeast. We're going to be opening up to 5 stores in New Jersey with him in the immediate future. We're actively looking at sites right now. Look, this brand can travel. Okay, it's 4 different occasions. It's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then late night, as Chainz was referencing earlier. There are over 4,000 markets that we can expand this brand into.
Yeah, well, if you could try to open one in the Midtown East area in Manhattan as a first step, I would appreciate that. So just whatever you can do to make that business opportunity work, that would be great for me. Chainz, I want to ask you one final question before we let you all go. Obviously, you are an investor and entrepreneur in your own right. When you think about crypto, NFTs, the metaverse, what is most exciting to you? Where do you see yourself putting your efforts into most moving forward?
Fortunately for me, I was blessed to actually perform, went to the metaverse, and I saw myself performing. So I'm intrigued about, I would call it the future, but I'm intrigued by the now, because we're literally in the future right now. And just knowing that, in a few years, currency or cash as we know it won't have as much meaning, and losing meaning now. Understanding that NFTs create so many opportunities for generational wealth. Understanding what the metaverse is and what the sandbox is, and also creating your own space within the metaverse, and knowing that this was what Web3 looks like. This is what, the other chapter looks like. I'm just blessed to be a part of it. I'm excited to be a part of it. And I'm also excited to use all of those things in all of my businesses to create different synergies and different relationships.
So it sounds like you see NFTs as a potential future move and hedge against the inequality that we're seeing in America.
Definitely.